Good morning and welcome back to Universal Studios Hollywood. Today we're going to talk a lot about A Quiet Place. This is one of the haunted houses coming to Universal Studios Hollywood's and Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights. It is considered a experimental haunted house, and there's so much to talk about A Quiet Place right now because I just listened to a podcast with Charles Ray, one of the creative directors of Universal Orlando Resort, and there's just so much to talk about. So let's get rolling right into this video. If you haven't done so already, make sure to leave a like. Let's get rolling. Okay, just made it into City Walk, into the Universal Studios store out here, and they have a new Horror Nights display inside. This is where you were able to find Team USA merch. Now I'm seeing more Horror Nights on this wall, but I don't see any new merchandise. I'm keeping an eye out for any new products. These tumblers were released a few days ago, so they're not like completely new, but they're newer. And there's me. Okay. I guess no new merch. Oh. Well, I was hopeful for a second, but alright, let's head into the park. I feel like I've seen these before, but they might be new to the City Walk store. They have some Mondo Universal Tiki mugs. Why are they called Mondo? Oh, okay. It's Mondo Tikis. Okay. Alright. Yeah, we have an orca. It looks like the shark from Jaws. And some nice tikis of some of the Universal monsters. No Frankenstein, surprisingly. Oh, it is Jaws! Why does it say orca? Pretty busy morning to enter the park. This is why I like coming around like 12 or 1 more recently, just because there's no security lines. The lines to get into the park are very minimal. But this is what we're dealing with. We're coming to the park every morning now. The lines are a lot quicker in the morning. I noticed that I didn't need to scan my fingerprint to enter the park, and that definitely speeds things up. But also look at the amount of people walking in now. This is good. Great start to a Universal morning. We're gonna avoid the Universal store. I highly doubt that we have any new merch, but I'll take a look towards the end of the video before we leave. Very unexpected, but they already started work on the lighting on the side of Hollywood and Dine. We're gonna see more lights up when they take down those Universal City Studio Tour signs, but that's very surprising that they've already had those installed. Also throughout this main boulevard, we have a lot more lighting, and you can see that peeking over some of these facades. Yeah, there's a lot of lighting set up this year. This is nice. I'm excited to see what they do. I always emphasized this. Since we don't really get like props around the park because our streets are so narrow and stuff, I think that's why we don't get like themed props anymore. I feel like they should add projectors and have projected effects onto these facades. How cool would that be? Obviously, projection mapping takes a little more time to do, but it would immerse the guests a little more, and it would show a bit more effort from the park in terms of Horror Nights and decorations, and it'll fully immerse you into the event. But we have a lot of lighting rigs set up. I've never seen lighting rigs set up above the entrance of the plaza and to the right of the plaza. You could see a lot of those being set up now. And in those trusses right above Starbucks, those have been set up already. A lot sooner than I expected, that's for sure. But we have more lighting as we walk down New York Street here. You could see right above DreamWorks Theater, they have some lighting set up over there. A lot of Source 4s, a lot of gobos. They haven't inserted any gels or anything like that, but I'm sure they'll insert some gobos and some gels. Gobos are they're like colored gels, but they have texture to them, so it makes it look like there's projected leaves on the ground and stuff like that. I just realized we don't have an announcement quite yet for what's coming to DreamWorks Theater. Speaking of which, the sign is starting to fade out. This has been open for nearly 10 years. Wait, I take that back. It opened 2018, not 2015. It's been open for like 8 years. The sign is starting to fade. But we also have a Source 4 set up over here. I'm sure they're gonna insert some form of like gobo in there to project a logo that'll project onto the DreamWorks Theater. Last year they did that with Blumhouse. They had the Blumhouse moving around. Sometimes it was projected there, sometimes it was projected on the ground. Walking into the plaza, kind of like our second stop. We completely avoided the plaza yesterday. I completely forgot about it. We had so many updates to talk about yesterday, and we have a lot more today as well. So just walking through the plaza from a different entrance this time. Only have a few more days left of this before they remove all of this and begin their transformation into Horror Nights. A lot of lighting set up on these trusses. All right, now to talk about A Quiet Place. So the Universal Parks and Destinations just released a podcast with Charles Gray, one of the creative directors of Halloween Horror Nights Orlando. He's been a part of the event since 1993, so he knows what he's doing, he knows what he's talking about. He talks a lot about A Quiet Place. This haunted house is coming to both Hollywood and Orlando, and a lot of the things that stuck out to me were the new types of elements that they're utilizing for this haunted house, as well as him identifying this haunted house as an experimental haunted house. We don't know if it's an experimental haunted house over here in Hollywood. I'm just going to be speaking for Orlando because we don't know anything about Hollywood, but I'd imagine that they'd take similar elements and place it into Hollywood's version. So the first thing he talked about, which no doubt is coming to both parks, is the implementation of ASL. This adds a whole new level of inclusivity, which is great. They're going to be teaching the actors common phrases in ASL, or maybe they'll hire people that know how to speak ASL. Over here in Hollywood, Murdy has talked about this. We're actually getting a facade in this haunted house, and I'd imagine that it's just the house facade from the first Quiet Place film. Maybe you start in the cornfield and you approach the facade. In Orlando, we don't know anything about the facade, but Charles did say that we're going to be seeing those farm silos. He said they have huge farm silos, and if you don't know what that is, it's those like giant, here I have a picture of it, you could kind of see it on my phone. Those are in the film a lot, and those will be in the haunted house in Orlando, not sure about here. He also talked about the large scale of these monsters that are going to be in the haunted house and how we're going to see them in many different forms. They have huge animated creatures, and then we'll see their arms, we'll see their head chomping at us. Not sure about Hollywood, but Orlando is sounding great. Now the big question, how are they going to pull off audio in this haunted house? And this is where the experimental part comes into play. He talked about audio in the films, and he also said that the movie isn't entirely quiet. You hear gusts of wind, you hear leaves blowing, you hear grass. So this haunted house will have some tone, it will have some music, but there will also be scenes where it's just completely quiet in the haunted house. I hope that's what Hollywood does as well. He also talked about sound leaking. In Orlando's haunted house, there will be no sound leaking. So if there's a loud scene in one of the scenes of the haunted house, you won't be able to hear that scene anywhere else in the haunted house. And I think that's all I got for you. I'm excited to see what they do with this haunted house here in Hollywood. Orlando usually takes a theatrical take on every haunted house they do. Hollywood has some theatrical elements, but their main priority is to scare you. So we'll see what Hollywood does with it this year. I'm excited. Some more lighting rigs set up above the Palace Theater Cafe. Now walking up to Monstros. I don't know if we'll have anything new to look at, but I'm curious to see if they've positioned these Source 4s. And yeah, it looks like they have positioned the lighting already. It wasn't positioned yesterday, but today it was. So they were doing some lighting tests last night. I'm curious to see if they've plugged in the little spotlights inside of the facade. This one doesn't look like it's been positioned. This one to the right has definitely been positioned though. Maybe, okay, you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe this is positioned. This one's facing up. The other one is facing towards the facade, so maybe they're trying to convey the lightning coming from the top. Maybe it'll reflect off Mel's. and hit the facade. If you see a square, I don't know if it's hard to see on camera, but right over here, that little square is a dimmer. They connect all the Source 4s and the lighting to it. It's called the Cyberpack, I think that's the company. But that's a dimmer, and they're able to control all the lighting with that. And then they program the lights obviously off-site. They connect it to a laptop or whatever the case might be. And yeah, it doesn't look like they've plugged in any of these mini spotlights yet. Okay, remember how we were talking about if Muerte is gonna be in front of the facade or not? It seems like he might. So they covered up this over here. I don't know if they'll have a, probably not, because there's a solid wall. Looking over here, they have a chain with a magnet. This wasn't here before. So it looks like Muerte might be in the front of the facade again. All right, now walking up to French Street. I think we have some more Scare Zone props, but the thing that stood out to me the most is that we already have lighting set up on the upper half of French Street, looking great. Oh yeah, and like I predicted yesterday, on this side they have the bad guys. Batalla de Sangre. El Séptimo Inferio. Or I don't know what it says, Inferiano. But that's like the creature from the Black Lagoon. It looks like they moved away one of the luchadors. He was on this side, but he's not here today. We'll look for him. Some more projected elements over here. Oh, I just realized this. Like, I did not catch this at all yesterday, but these barricades have Halloween Horror Nights on them now. That's cool. Oh wow, what is going on here? I love how tall this referee is. I like that they represent us short kings. Anyways, some really neat decorations here. I think that's Shrek. I also really like that all of the luchadors have Doc Martens on. Anyways, moving on, we have some more props and stuff here. This is a new poster for El Diablo Verde. We have two posters of him so far. There's one at the far end of the Scare Zone as well. We'll take a look at that again. But they have a cool one over here. We have one of these over here. Oh, look at the skeleton inside. Ah, it doesn't look like they've decorated him yet. He still has like some bubble wrap around him, so they're still gonna do some work on him. But it's looking good. Boletos de lucha libre a la aquí. Oh, and there's our luchador from yesterday. They moved him way down here. Hello, how's it hanging? Another projected element over here, and what is going on here? Ah, Luchadores Monstruosos. That's what that sign says up there. Look at this guy. I feel like they gotta add more than just one luchador in each cage. It kind of looks funny when it's just one inside. And on top of that, I feel like they should add a little more detail. It looks a little wonky when it's just one inside. We have another luchador here. This is a new friend. What are we gonna name him? I really like his pants and how much they sag. Anyways, next prop. Over here, I'm assuming they're just giving the Bonesy brothers a reskin, but they're definitely inside of here. The Bonesy brothers, if you don't know, they first introduced them way back in like either 2018 or 2019. They're two brothers that are animatronic skeletons, and they've been repurposed for many, many years. They've been repurposed in 2021, 2022, and last year as well. And now they're making a return in 2024. I'm excited to see their outfits this time. Ooh, Muerte Azul, the Blue Devil, or the Blue Death. Look at him flying. I love that. That's really cool. And then our last luchador over here. This guy looks petrified. Look at his eyes. That's really something. Is that it? Is that all we have here? Yeah, they just tilted this one a little bit. Okay, great. And that's basically all we got for you in the Luchador Scare Zone. I hope they're not done. I hope they add a little more props in here. Hope they fill up these cages because it looks so wonky just having one luchador in each cage. Here's your look at the coaster. They're extending the structure by a lot now. You can see that that platform has extended since yesterday, and more vertical work going on. They're probably gonna be closing up on this very soon, maybe within the next like 2 or 3 months. This coaster support took even more shape. Actually, a few hours after I ended yesterday's video, they installed a second taller support, but now they're connecting the pieces, and it's kind of easier to see what elements are going to be on this ride. This might be an inversion, or maybe the coaster comes around and like turns in a weird way. I'm pretty sure that's an inversion, but that's definitely taking shape right now. They're hard at work, a lot of activity going on that upper half of the project. I think they have all hands on deck working on that. But as the days move on, we're gonna see a lot more coaster supports go up, and with that obviously more track pieces, which is exciting. I think that's what you guys are all excited to see, and eventually, maybe by mid-summer next year, we'll start seeing some coaster testing as we approach the grand opening in 2026. But yeah, this project is starting to look insane. I'm glad that activity has picked up. I'm sure they've acquired all the permits they've needed to acquire moving forward. And I bet we're gonna see a lot more work, especially on this bottom half, starting next week. You can see there's a lot of coaster footers that are ready to be filled in, and some that have already been completed. So we'll definitely see some more coaster supports up probably in the next 2 weeks here. But in the meantime, as you can see with this crane, lots of activity going up on the upper half. So if we're gonna see progress anywhere, it's definitely gonna be that upper half of the project. I'm gonna take a look from the other side of the escalators just to see what it's looking like from the other side. I'm not sure if we're gonna see much activity on that other half, but we're about to find out. As we walk over to our next update, we have some questions to Murdy that I'll be reading off of. Someone asked, will the Weekend Nightmare Trilogy have a pre-show? John Murdy mentioned videos in the queue, and the facade is a whole thing with a live performer and etc. So we're gonna see a live performer in front of the facade. Someone asked, will Singapore's facade be inspired for this year's Weekend Haunted House? And Murdy responded by saying, used for inspiration, but it's pretty different. Singapore's haunted house facade was actually really cool. They built like all of Las Vegas from after hours, and we'll probably see something similar. Right. JB650 asks, hello John, is it possible to answer if we will get another show in the DreamWorks Theater, or was that a one-year thing? He said stay tuned, so we'll see. And someone asked again about the weekend, saying, will the house start where it ended after the after hours beat and go into Until I Bleed Out? John Murdy said no, all new theme, etc. So that's all we got in terms of questions for Murdy. Now I'm admiring this coaster from this angle. This is actually so cool. I can't wait. Okay, take a look at the coaster. Lots of activity going on down here actually. I wonder if this will be like another launch track. Maybe it'll go above the escalator, back down, and then launch straight forward. That's what it seems like, at least. But yeah, lots of activity going on here. They're pouring in some foundation right now. You can see that they do have the concrete rotator machines over there. So they're definitely gonna start pouring in foundation right now if they're not doing it already. And then we'll probably see some more footers take a vertical shape probably like tomorrow or the next day at this point. Yeah, it's looking good. This is also exciting. I'm just looking at that one piece of coaster supports, and that that just looks insane. That element looks crazy. Yeah, lots of activity going on today. Alright, now looking down at Dead Exposure Death Valley. I know we don't know a whole lot about what's going to happen in this haunted house, but from the looks of it, it's going to be taking place in Death Valley or in the middle of a desert. And compared to the rest of the haunted houses like Frozen Empire or Monsters or The Weekend, This is gonna be a hot haunted house, and what I mean by that is temperature-wise, it's gonna be hot inside. So like Ghostbusters, they'll have the AC blasting because it's Frozen Empire. They're gonna have ice and snow everywhere, and same with Monsters because it takes place in the winter and it's snowy in there. This haunted house takes place in the middle of the desert, so I wonder if they'll put like heaters or anything in there. I feel like that might be brutal for the actors, so maybe they'll put a air conditioning unit behind the scare actors and maybe a heater where the guests walk. But that would be really cool if they can immerse you in a whole new level like that. To my knowledge, I don't think they've ever used like heat effects in haunted houses here, so that would definitely be a first. Yeah, and like I said, they are pouring concrete right now. Look at that. Yeah, we're gonna see some vertical work. We'll see some concrete filled in, and these footers will be done very soon. This is why I love the mornings at Universal. It's not like that packed, so we can get looks of the coaster or views of the coaster from like places like here where you normally can't just like stand in the middle of the road because it's so busy. Yeah, it's looking great. In a way, I'm kind of glad that the 60th anniversary of the studio tour is ending, because it cuts down on like 10 to 15 minutes of the tour. You don't have to stop at the Bates Motel. I don't usually get off the tram there anymore because it takes forever to reboard a tram. So that'll make it easier in terms of updates, but I do really enjoy the 60th anniversary of the studio tour. I really hope moving forward they do summer events like this, because it feels like something's happening at the park. Because I feel like from the beginning of January all the way to, I guess, August at this point, you have to wait so long for an event to happen here at Universal. So it's nice that they do stuff like this. It keeps you well fed until Horror Night starts and then Grinchmas. Also, what's really nice is that the park is gonna start closing at 6 and 7 p.m. next week, starting Monday, which means all the kids are going back to school, everyone's going back to work, summer break is slowly coming to an end. The weekends might be a little bit busier, but the weekdays will be a little lighter on crowds. And I can't emphasize this enough, the perfect day to come to Universal is on a weekday after the summer. That's when you'll be able to get the most amount of rides, the most amount of shows done in a day. Alright, well, I ended up on the Spanish tram, so this will be interesting. This is my first time doing the Spanish tram for the 60th anniversary. I wonder if they have any special videos or anything like that in Spanish. Also now, when you get on the Spanish tram, they give you a lanyard. I think this is because you get off the tour, they can identify who's there for the Spanish tram with what lanyard you're wearing. Which means the drop-off section might take a little bit longer for us, but it's okay. Oh, another thing with the 60th, I'm so excited for them to remove this song. This song is so annoying. I catch myself like humming it in my sleep. It's so funny. By the way, we're like the only ones in this car. It looks like they're only loading like car 1, 2, and 3. To be honest, I feel like they might open up car 4. We're about to find out. Otherwise, it'd be pretty cool to have our own car. We haven't done this in a while. Last time we had our own car was in December of last year. And this will actually be so good for me because right now I'm learning Spanish on Duolingo. I took Spanish 1, 2, and 3 in high school, but I like completely lost it all. There are familiar words to me, and that's why I'm able to like translate some of the luchadores or the monstros signage, but outside of that, I'm not that great at Spanish. Adios, bye, hasta mañana, or never. Oh, we also ended up getting our own tram so we could talk and be as loud as we want.
Welcome aboard the world famous studio tour.
They didn't translate it, but they did add like captions underneath in Spanish.
Our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years of glitz.
Ver cómo se filmaban las películas mudas. Pero después de 13 o 14 años llegó la era del cine sonoro y se acabó el recorrido original de pie. En los años 60, bajo el liderazgo del presidente de la empresa Lou Wasserman y los ejecutivos Al Dorskin y Jay Stein, la idea de revivir un recorrido por los estudios resurgió. El 15 de julio de 1964, el primero de nuestros tranvías de Glamour llevó a 67 pasajeros en un recorrido de 2 horas y así nació el mundialmente famoso Studio Tour. Comenzamos con 2 conductores, 2 guías y un vendedor de entradas. Desde entonces, el Studio Tour se amplió con elementos fantásticos y únicos de Hollywood, como la batalla de Galáctica, deslizamiento
Fantástico.
de rocas y casa en llamas que estuvieron aquí en esta tour. No va a funcionar sin terapia. Empezamos con los trajes de Glamour en 1964, como los que estamos viendo en los monitores. En 1983 nos actualizamos a supertramvias, permitiéndonos llevar más invitados. En el año 2000 añadimos video a bordo, convirtiendo el tranvía en un cine sobre ruedas. Y hoy nos tocó el tranvía eléctrico. Aquí en los estudios Universal Hollywood usamos energía ecológica.
I think she's talking about the electric trams now.
Eléctrico, tenemos frenado regenerativo. Cada vez vamos cuesta abajo. Durante el recorrido como ahora, estamos generando una carga. Y por aquí dejamos atrás el mundo de la realidad y entramos en el mundo de la fantasía. Estoy a punto de llevarles a nuestro lote delantero, el hogar de nuestros 36 foros de sonido. Dentro de estos edificios podemos crear cualquier ambiente según lo que el guión exija. Y a continuación...
You love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out.
You never know who
Or what?
you'll see on the studio tour.
Oh wow, look at that car.
Filmamos muchos programas de televisión. Universal inició la historia de televisión en 1939 con la transmisión de la ceremonia de apertura de la Feria Mundial de Nueva York. Desde entonces hemos producido algunas de las series de televisión más populares.
Out of all the haunted houses, this is the one I'm most anticipating. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Looks so cool. I'm so curious if Doc is out. Is he gonna speak Spanish? Are we gonna hear Spanish speaking
Everybody,
Doc?
Do you think we can get this tram up to 88 miles per hour?
Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it.
See you in the future.
I'm so excited because on October 2nd or 1st, I get to meet Michael J. Fox at LA Comic Con. Oh, there he is. Spanish speaking Doc? Question mark. He said hola.
Bienvenidos a la Plaza de la Justicia. Sí, es su máquina del tiempo.
She's translating. That looks a lot like Doc. They chose a really great actor for him.
Ahora nos toca viajar en tiempo. ¿Sí estamos listos?
Sí. Sí.
I
like the reference to the movie. When this baby hits 88 miles, you're gonna see some real, you know what. Good seeing you, Doc. I know, I'm all alone. You too, take care. See you. They really got to bring back Horror Nights in the Backlot. Oh, I miss being able to walk back here. I miss the food carts over here and eating on the grass, and it was so much better. Horror Nights was back here. Horror Nights had a completely different vibe to it. If you've never been back here for Horror Nights, you completely missed out. They would usually have 3 haunted houses and a bonus haunted house all the way in the back right there. And it would be so perfect now too, because if they put a haunted house here, you could look at the mural and admire the mural, and then they used to have a haunted house there and one behind this wall. The vibes were just different back then, and we are getting very close to this car. Holy smokes.
About to see.
De la academia. Y a continuación vamos a ver uno de los sets exteriores más grandes de su exitosa película War of the Worlds, Guerra de los Mundos con Tom Cruise. Así estás. ¿Qué vamos a ver ahora?
So yesterday they were setting up for a music video shoot at night, and they still have a lot of lighting set up for that music video shoot. I'm not sure if they've done any progress for Horror Nights. We're about to find out right now. So it looks like the structure is taking shape. It looks very similar to what we had last year, to be honest. Here's what it's looking like inside. Okay, interesting. I wonder if this will be Happy Death Day. It looks like it might be like a locker room, or maybe the Blitzfield Butcher like locker room. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. And then this will probably be a VIP or RIP tour only room with the photo op at the end. They did that last year with the Exterminator's tram. They had a special photo with Larry Larva. But they haven't done much in terms of decorating here because they're still working on a music video shoot. It's kind of odd that they'll do a music video shoot right when they're working on Horror Nights, but I don't know. I'm not gonna say too much about that. Nothing has been done here to my knowledge, unless we see something inside. We'll probably see some lighting get set up next week in here. Outside of that, probably nothing else. Those facades can be found to the right of the Bates Motel. Those little house facades are still there. But I wonder where the main Blumhouse logo facade went. That's nowhere to be seen right now. Back in the day, in 2015, they discontinued it. 2015 was its last year, but you were able to walk up this mountain and they would have some creepy stuff up there during the Terror Tram. And then this is where we get off. Alright, so this might take a little bit to wait for, but right now everyone that's doing the Spanish tour is taking photos. They're probably going to take their time and see everything this has to offer. In the meantime, we'll just be sitting in here. I'll work on the thumbnail. I've been trying pretty hard with the recent thumbnails. It's been a lot of fun working on these thumbnails. Right now I'm working on today's thumbnail. This is what I'm working on right now. I do it all through Canva, and so I'm not like anywhere near done. You could probably look at the thumbnail and see the final product, but I'm gonna add some like bite marks into the E and like some subtle details. I layered some of the leaves in the background behind Jim. I don't know his name in The Quiet Place. I haven't seen The Quiet Place movie, but he's Jim from The Office. I'm layering the leaves behind. I don't know, I'm excited for you to see the final product. It's gonna come out so cool. This is such a random spot to end the video, but I'm gonna start working on editing the video over here at the park, which is something I don't usually do. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's update here at Universal. I'm JP, and how they say in the movies, that's a wrap. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.